Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, Gnome Studios, where I draw and talk about art and animation and any other art-related topic I feel like talking about. Today I am doing a time-lapse recording of my Photoshop painting process as I draw Victor from Arcane. If you haven't finished Season 2 of Arcane, I highly recommend you go do that before watching this video, as there will definitely be spoilers. And if you remained, hi, what did you think of Season 2 of Arcane? Because I loved it, especially this design of Victor. It's crazy cool. Love the way his face just split in half and formed a mask of itself. It was weird. As you can see, the first part of my painting process is called flatting. That is when I fill in the flat colors of the image that I'm going to be using. Since today I'm choosing to forego line art and use the sketch as a sort of loose, rough line art, all I'm doing is loosely coloring within the lines of my sketch and then filling in the color with the paint bucket tool. As you can see, I am not a big fan of the paint bucket tool in Photoshop, as it leaves behind this annoying line of pixels around my color. So I go in and painstakingly fill that all in by hand. So this is going to take a while. I am going to speed through the rest of this process, and I'll check back in with you when it's time for the rendering process. And now on to step 2, the painting and rendering process. Now I am going through all of my brushes and testing them out and seeing which one I want to work with. The brush I end up landing on is Jazza's Oil Wet Brush from his Ultimate Brush Pack. It does cost a little bit of money, but it is definitely worth it if you have the money to spare. So next I just start painting in the shadows with a slightly darker and cooler color. And what's great about this brush is I was able to keep layering it and blending it out with only this one color. I didn't have to switch too much to another blender brush unless I had a specific texture I wanted to achieve. But yeah, I pretty much just stuck with this brush for the entire rendering process. You don't need to use a large variety of brushes to get a good rendering on your pieces. You can just use one brush that is versatile and has the ability to blend with itself. I'm going to speed through the rest of this process because it's pretty much the same all the way through. And then after I do the shadows, I will move in with highlights. I can come back for that process if I have anything to say. Hey, just want to jump back in and say that I made a decision kind of on a whim, and I quite like how this turned out texture-wise. I make my brush super, super small, and I start doing these small, thin strokes along the directions of the musculature of Victor's body. Since if you look in the references, his body seems to be made up of exposed metallic muscles with no skin on top. So to get that musculature texture, I draw in individual striations of the muscle fibers along the direction of the muscles. And now it's time for my favorite part of any drawing process, the highlights. And so here I'm just taking a pale gray blue color and I'm painting in where the light would be hitting the high points of the image. And now it's time for the background, and I'm not the best at backgrounds, so I did use a reference. So after I get my reference split screened to the side, I'm going to color pick and place the colors on top of a darker background and just kind of blend them together and layer them until I get the desired galaxy effect. And now it is time to draw Victor's halo. For this, I use the circle tool and just put in a circle. Then I'm going to go over it with my brush just so everything is like the same texture. It's gonna turn into a little bit of a messier circle, but from afar I get the desired effect that I want. And for the spikes of light coming off the halo, all I do is I hold down the shift key while using my brush tool, so I get a straight line without having to use the line tool, so I get straight lines in the texture of the brush that I want to use. For this next part, I have to use the rotate tool quite a bit so I can perfectly draw this hex orb, hex core, whatever the hex this thing was called. And yeah, drawing rounded lines at an angle is tricky, so the rotate tool really helped with this. Not for this line though. Wow, this line I struggled with a lot. I think you can see me give up at one point, then I have to return to it later. And for some finishing touches, I'm going to add a screen layer above the entire drawing to add glow to the glowing elements in the piece. If you are struggling with the values in your piece, I highly recommend filling a layer with black and putting it on top of your whole image and setting it to color mode. This will let you view your image in black and white so you can really see the values of your piece and you can adjust the contrast levels. And just like that, the piece is done, at least for today. I may return to this piece at a later date and fix all the mistakes I made, but for now, I am happy with the finished result. If you like this style of video, please let me know in the comments below, and let me know what other characters you'd like to see me draw. Maybe your suggestion will be done in another YouTube video. And please like and subscribe and stick around for more. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.